Okay, this is part 2 on the survival pods. I'll be uploading this on the Project Motion site later on this week. And am I in focus here? I'm not sure where how this is going to film. Okay. Don't need to sit down on this one. Just need a little. I'll use this suit here for a pointer. And start my time. So it's time to go home. Okay, on this here, the basic framework here is a 2x6, and I've taken a 2x6 10-foot long. You cut it in half, and you cut your 30-degree bevels on. So the outside of your 2x6 here is works out to about 58 inches. And so this, you could have one person cutting these, and you could have a stack of 50 of these, and one person could probably cut all these for all these ribs in about maybe a couple hours. And then you could have maybe a couple people assembling these ribs. And as I was saying, from point to point, it's going to be a good 9 feet point to point. And the way that you find that distance there, you take 58, 58. So this is 58, this would be 58 and 58, so that'd be 116 inches. And probably use like a 5/8 scab on this. It'd be nice to be able to use fur. And once it's all put together, you can actually, I'd prime these out. On the outside, I'd probably use a 5/8 tongue and groove material. If you got your 4 foot here, you're going to have around 8 to 10 inches, around 10 inches that you have to add in. And even on tongue and groove, you probably want to put some kind of backing in between your joists, because you don't want any pressure there. On the inside, I probably use you could use like a 1/2 inch plywood, maybe a 3/8 wouldn't be thick enough. 1/2 inch plywood, or depends on what you're going to do with it. If I was going to make this into a sauna, I'd line this with cedar. And if I was going to make this into a sauna, or say underground storage for food, I'd spray this out once it's all built. The exterior is built, you go on the inside and you spray this out to about a 2-inch layer of foam. And then you can finish it off with ordinary bad insulation. And you have your vapor barrier, and put your wood over top. And I like to design it in such a way that the interior of these are vented into the bottom. So if you've got any moisture in between your joists, it's going to have a way of escape. And that's the problem with houses nowadays, and that they seal them up so tight, you end up getting, they'll rot out. It wouldn't take long for a wall to rot out. If moisture is trapped, you got to make sure that there's no moisture in these. And so that way, I worked out my spec sheet. I don't have it with me, so I'm just going by memory. And but if you made one of these trusses and you had them scabbed both sides of 5/8, and you had your cradle made like that, each truss should handle easily over 1,000 pounds. In other words, you should be able to hang 1,000 pounds on this, or put 1,000 or 500 pounds there, 500 pounds there. And that truss is going to bear the load, and stay like that for infinity. And if you had a box and you put 1,000 pound weight in the box, eventually this is going to sag in the middle. And that's the beauty about the hexagonal. Not only can it be made very quickly, but if it's buried, you got equal pressure coming in here. So the pressure comes in here, it's transferred down and right, so your weight it's transferred to here like this, goes down right to onto the bottom. So your cradle itself, you'd use that for this is a 16-foot unit. You could have water storage in here. You could have septic storage, gray water storage, and drinking water. You could actually make tanks that would be enclosed and insulated. And you could have a power backup. There's different things that you can do. You have something that's halfway between a house trailer and an RV. A house trailer, if you really got a cold winter, it's not going to work. It's too hot or too cold. A house trailer is just not made sound enough. The walls are so thin. Same as an RV. You basically got maybe an inch and a half of insulation in the walls, and that's it. And for the end times, it's not going to do it. You're going to want something that's going to stand up, and something that's not only durable, that's going to endure the climate changes, but something that can be put together very quickly by people that have very little construction experience. And as I was saying, you could have one person doing the cutting of this year, and if you're going to make the 16 foot, that means you're going to need about you need one, so you have one, that's 4 foot, that'd be 2, 8 foot would be 3, 12 would be 4, 16 would be 5, and then you have to add 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, and 15 to, because you want to double up your ends. So you actually have 15 trusses. So that's 15 times 6, that's the number of pieces. So a person, if you had a jig all worked out, you could easily, one person could cut these faster than it would take 2 people to assemble them. So in the morning, in 3-4 hours, you actually should have all the ribs made and all the ribs assembled. And I'd like to make some kind of jig that's able to raise this up where this will be on a spindle, so where you could actually spin the whole structure. That way you can have a teamwork in here and a teamwork in here, depending on your exterior sheeting. And you want to make sure to, if you can, to use a PL 400 to glue all your joints. And as far as finish, if it's underground, you can probably put some flat roofing material on this, and and you put your torch on over off the top of that, and you just seal her up. It'll be good. And this is going to be above surface, like a standard shelter. I'm not too sure at this point like the best way to finish it off. That'll come. Maybe some kind of a epoxy finish or whatever. And also too, when you're making these sections, it'd be good to use a little bit of metal strapping on your outside corners. That would really reinforce it, and like reinforce the gussets and give it quite a bit more strength. And once you're set up, this will go together very quick. And also designed it, you can, this basically is your floor here, and you can make it like a capron design where if this is, I think it's about 7.5 feet across, so it works out that this would be about 30 inches, 30 inches, 30 inches, 30 inches, and about 15 inches down. And so this would be like a bench seat, and so you can set up the interior the same as you would a camper, or you can use this for canned goods. You have a 30-inch space here. You could have two boxes of 1 dozen, or 1 dozen here, 1 dozen there, as high as you can go. And so this could store a lot of food. It's very compact, very strong. It's going to take the weight. The challenge is going to be to make the cradle, and because I like to be able to, you know, probably use steel to reinforce. And if you have this on a flatbed, say this is the pavement here, this is your flatbed, it'd be nice to be able to pull out some jacks. You got some jacks that pull out like this, probably 3x6 rectangular steel. Then you add your jacks on, and that way you can jack the whole unit off, pull your building out, pull your truck out, and, you know, and drop it down. That's a thought. And you know, this is all kind of new in the making. I'm bringing all these last 6 or 7 years together and coming to the point where I'd actually like to start building this. And what I'm doing now, I'm working out the amount of material. So this the third video, I'll be able to tell you how much 2x6 is going to take, how much 5/8 exterior sheeting is going to take, how much interior sheeting that's going to take, and overall, from the exterior sheeting to the interior sheeting, it takes up approximately 22% of the area. So it leaves 78% of living space inside. And if you look at this is a triangle, 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 triangle. And so I think this works out to, I have to get back to you on it, but you would have 6 triangles here, 7, 8, 7, 6 round is 12, another is 18. And so you got, out of 18, you got 1, 2, 3 triangles that are not being used. And so you just take your 78%, divide by 18 times 15, and that'll give you the percentage of living area here. Okay, I'm going to cut it off here. I just like your interest. I'd like for this to get out to people, so they can think about it. And I believe we're coming to the place where we're going to have to prepare what's have all this in place before anybody comes by. When the pole shift happens, that's it. You're stuck where you're at. This is Joshua Taylor coming to you from here at Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.